Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 83, Perez versus Taira, whatever. We back in the Apex, boo, but we are back nonetheless with another breakdown. And yeah, we got another card here. It's not a great card, it is a card. And yeah, this is probably this funny. I'm doing my breakdown today on Thursday, like I always do, recording it at least. When today has been batshit crazy, and this card kind of means nothing. Had bullshit with 303, Connor bullshit, Hamzat bullshit, which I'll actually talk about later in the card, and that's actually probably in a few minutes. So yeah, it feels like no one even remembers this card going on, but why the fuck would you when you have the next two cards, which were meant to be ginormous, now are fucking trampled to an extent. So whatever, I'll talk about that when we get to those cards in later dates. At least 303, I'll talk about the Hamza shit in a couple minutes. But yeah, we're back in the Apex, middle of June. We had two cards before this. We had two more after this, and it's gonna be interesting. This card's not bad for an Apex card. It's fine. I've seen better. I've seen worse. I think on paper it's better than. Well, actually, it probably will be better than 303, and it could be better than Louisville. So, yeah, this card could be decent. We did lose a fight. Not anything, not a bad reason why we lost the fight, but we did lose a pretty big fight on it. But we still got a card here, some pretty fun fights on it, and let's see what happens. So only 12 fights, take it or leave it, and yeah, let's see what happens in the Apex this week. But before I get into the breakdown, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And unless I'm going to say something, which I don't think I am, let's break down some fights in the Apex. There's only 3 more of these cards, hopefully, Apex-wise. We can make it. And I say 3 with fucking heavy hope, because there's only 3 booked right now, and they're trying to kill these. There's only 3. So there might only be 3 of these left. So we just gotta hold out hope and make it, so, yeah. But let's break down UFC Vegas 93. 12 fights, like I said, we did lose a fight, and the fight we did lose is Ikram Alishkarov versus Antonio Trocoli. Ikram did step in to fight Robert Whitaker next week, because Hamza Chimaev did pull out. So this is what Ikram Alishkarov is doing now, so this is why he's not on the card. I think it's a very understandable reason. I'll break down this fight next week. And, yeah, good for Ikram that he's getting this fight. This fight makes 10 times more sense than that fucking, Antonio fight. And let's see if he's the real deal. So, I talked about it a lot on Twitter today. We all have, because the Hamza news came out earlier in the day, so we had time to talk about it. I think you had better options. You could have won Kevin Holland, Brendan Allen, Kamaru Usman. But I like it, Graham. I think that's a good option. Let's see what happens. So I would have went Kevin Holland, because I think that would have been fucking dope. But if we're talking about important fights that could be like very interesting, this is a good one. So if that's why we did lose a fight, we will not be seeing this fight now. I do kind of feel bad for Antonio to an extent, because he was finally gonna have his debut. Yeah, he was gonna get KO'd, but whatever. Hopefully they can get Antonio booked pretty soon. Could they find him a new fight for this card? I guess. Got, what, 48 hours? We'll have 24 triple weigh-ins, so, yeah, maybe they could find him a replacement. I doubt they will, but you never know. So, if Antonio gets a new fight, my bad, I didn't get to break it down, but what can you do? Who cares? It's a fucking Antonio Trocoli. So, but yeah, this is why we're down to 12 fights, not 13, and now this is why we have no idea what the co-main of the card is, because the Ikram news came out a few hours ago. I'm recording this a few hours later, so the card has not been reshuffled yet, or what's going to happen, so we'll have to wait and see in that department. So I'm just going to break down the order the card was in before, and I guess I'll call this the fucking co-main for right now. So, yeah, that's why we're down to 12 fights. That's why The card looks a little weird from probably what you've been seeing all week and what you've been seeing in breakdowns all week, but that is why. Okay, enough rambling. Let's get into the breakdown. 12 fights. We start in the featherweight division with a very interesting fight. This could be a good one. As we begin the night with Shayilan Wolverine Nuerdanbieke versus Melquizael Costa. Pretty fun fight to start the night here. Fun little scrap at featherweight between two dudes who can have some fun fights. And let's see what happens here. So, let's begin with Shayilan Nuerdanbieke, the youngest fighter to ever have a fucking 39-11 record. So, yeah, Shayilan Nuerdanbieke in UFC is 3-2. I did not think he had that many fights. His 3 wins are Sean Soriano, TJ Brown, and Derek Minner, and his 2 losses are Josh Culibao and Steve Garcia. Shayilan's good. Shayilan can have pretty good performances. He's looked bad at times, but that's when he's fought higher level competition. Every time he does fight a higher level guy, he does lose, like you see against Culibao and Steve Garcia. But when he's fighting guys who are not very good, he can win. Like, the best guy he beat was TJ Brown, probably, and he's fucking garbage. So, yeah, he can win these fights against lower level guys, but he just really has not been able to show up against a better competition in the UFC. So that's kind of why he's been stagnant. And now, this is the first time we've seen him since last year when he lost to Steve Garcia on 287, so it's been a minute since we've seen him. I guess that's not the worst thing in the world for a guy who is so experienced at 30 years old. So I guess it could be worse. It could be worse, and maybe he's gotten better over that year layoff because he definitely needs to. Because he is a very flawed fighter. Like, his striking is okay. His wrestling is really where his bread and butter is, but the bad thing of that, he has no cardio. So, he really has no fucking cardio. So, he's a one-round fighter. And I know I say that as he has 2 decision wins on his record, but that was literally just cuddling the opponent for 10 minutes. So, he's not very good. He has potential. Again, his striking is fine. His ground game is good, but it's his cardio that's been his fucking enemy in his UFC career. That's why he lost to Steve Garcia. That's why he got finished by Steve Garcia, no less. And then get Culibao. Culibao was a tough debut, and then he looked terrible in that fight anyway. So Shayilan has just kind of been floating around. He's not really been doing anything of note, but now we're getting to see him back after a year plus layoff. We're going to see how he does here in I would say the second hardest fight of his career, but he is getting a pretty tough fight here, a very tough return fight in Costa. So we'll see how he does here. If he's improved as a fighter, this fight can be really interesting, but if he's still a one-round pretty mid fighter, then it might not go very good for him. So I don't think Shayilan's a bad fighter, but he's definitely going to need to show improvements if he wants to win this fight, because this ain't going to be an easy win. So let's see if he's improved, because his opponent is Costa, who is very, very good. Melk in the UFC is 1-2, really 1-1. In his debut, he stepped on short nose to fight Thiago Moises, which really, yeah, like, are we gonna hold that L against him? He stepped in on short nose to fight a lightweight, like, when he's a featherweight. So I feel like we're kind of not being great to him in that regard. He didn't even look bad in that fight. Like, he didn't even look that terrible. He made it to almost the end of round 2, so he didn't even look that bad. But then we really got to see how good he is in his first fight at featherweight against Austin Lingo, where he looked amazing. Just dominated Lingo from pillar to post and looked great. So we really got to see Costa, and he's a very good, well-rounded fighter. But then he met Steve Garcia, the fucking daddy of both fighters in this fight. Steve just kind of broke him. Steve kind of just broke him, I guess is the easiest way to put it. He fucking just battered him bad, beat him up, cut him up, KO'd him, knocked him silly. and got the win. So yeah, I not Melk's best performance, but Steve Garcia is actually like a sneaky good fighter. Like, he's definitely one of the most underrated fighters in UFC right now. So those are not, like, I know losing to Steve Garcia, it doesn't sound great, especially if you know Steve Garcia, but at the same time, if you've seen Garcia fight lately, he's actually been doing pretty good. So, and Melk didn't even do terrible in that fight, he just kind of got out crazied. So this fight's definitely more down to earth for Melk, and it's definitely a step down. So we'll see how he does here. He's good. Melk is very good. He's I believe he's a Charles Oliveira guy, shoot a box. Yeah, so we know what he can do. He's really good on the ground. He's good on the feet. Cardio's not bad. He's good. He's a very well-rounded fighter, like we saw, like I said, in the Lingo fight. It's definitely the fight you want to watch if you just want to see how good Melk is. I get Austin Lingo's a terrible fighter, but Melk definitely showed how good he can be in that fight. His striking's crisp. His ground game's good. His cardio's good. He's a really good fighter. I'm very interested to see how he looks in this fight after a good break. Not a crazy long break, but a little time off to heal up after a pretty bad beating from Steve Garcia. So we'll see how he does here. I am kind of intrigued because this is an interesting matchup. So we'll see what happens in this fight between two dudes who are very young and actually have really, like, veteran records. 20 wins here, almost 40 wins here. It's like, what the fuck? So let's see what happens. The betting odds for this fight have Melk Costa minus 180 to plus 150. I think the betting odds are pretty fair here. Minus 180 for Costa. I think that's very fair odds. He should win this fight. If you want to, like, could you put Costa up to 200? I don't think I would. I think 190 as far as I would go. He should win this fight. Could he lose? Yes, he definitely could. But I think Melk should be able to win this fight. I think he's the better fighter. Like, Shayilan could win as well. Shayilan, but I'm not sure if Shayilan's path to victory is very, I don't want to say viable, but very, what word do I want to use? Very, I don't know if it's going to work, because Shayilan's going to want to get in there and either A, finish him in round 1, which you're not going to, or B, wrestle him and beat him over 3 rounds, which I don't think he's going to be even able to do. So I think his paths of victory are very unlikely. I think they're very tough to get as well. So we'll see if he can cause the upset. I doubt it. I think Melk should just be able to be a better fighter here. He's 3 years younger. He's fought more recently. He's taller, bigger reach. I think he's a more well-rounded fighter, and I think he should be able to win here. I don't know what the fuck Tapology is thinking. I don't get, like, maybe I don't know something, but I really don't think Nuerdanbieke should be a pick favorite. Like, I get it's a small 53-47, but, like, I would have Costa probably, like, percentage of winning, maybe 80 to fucking 20. Maybe you might even go up to 90. So yeah, that would be minus 180, 190. So yeah, I think Costa should win this fight. How? How I think really depends on how Shayilan has improved. If he's improved, then it might be a Costa decision. If he's not improved, if he's still the very weak gas tank fighter, then I think Costa will probably finish him. So I'm gonna go Melk Costa by. Give me Melk by, I'm feeling submission in the second. I think he's going to finish him in the second round, maybe even a third. But I feel second round finish for Melk. I think he's going to bounce back and look good in this fight. And I'm going to say a second round submission. Maybe I'll change that, but I feel like second round submission is the way to go. I think he's going to, I could see him dropping Shayilan, or Shayilan shooting in a fur takedown, getting guillotined, or some shit like that. So give me Melk Costa by submission in a second. Could he? I won't be shocked if he TKOs him. Let's say a good body shot like Steve Garcia got, or something like that. But I'm gonna go submission in a second. So Rather right now. I might change it. I've changed my ways of winning before, but that's what I'm feeling right now. So, to start the night, give me Costa by submission in a second. I think he's the better fighter. I think he will show that, and I think he will win. So, Costa, submission in a second to begin the night. After that, we head to strawweight for a banger of a fight, a fucking amazing fight, one of the best fights on the card. The fact that it's this low on the card is kind of fucking criminal. I would have this on the main card, especially now that we don't even have Ikram on the card. This could be a fucking banger. I cannot wait for this fight, and I'm not trying to be funny. This is not me trying to be funny or anything, or like troll. No, I literally, like I said for Denise Gomes and Eduardo Mora last week, I cannot, I'm not a fucking WMMA hater, I'm not stupid. Yeah, most of the fights suck. You want me to fucking lie? There's one on this card that'll probably suck. This is not one of them. This is a great fight, and I can't wait for it. So, let's get into it. As in our second fight of the night, we head to strawweight for a banger between Julia Psycho Polastri versus Josefine Thunder Knutsson. Just a fucking amazing fight between two great prospects. I cannot wait for this fight. The only part of this fight I don't like is that one of them has to lose, because I think they're both fucking amazing fighters, and I cannot wait to see them fight. But one has to take an L. Let's see which one it is. Let's start off this breakdown with Julia Polastri. Julia is making her UFC debut finally after getting her contract on Contender Series last year in her second attempt, where she looked fucking amazing, dominating Patricia Alujas. She looked amazing in that fight and really showed she has improved since her first Contender Series attempt, she was on Contender Series a couple years back during the pandemic when she fought Jasmine Jasovicius, which that has aged actually really, really well. Losing to Jasmine, who's probably about to beat Ujo in the top 15. I don't think you can really be too upset about that loss. So I think she's really improved since that fight. She's 4-0, and now in the UFC. She's good. I like Polastri. She's one of my favorite fighters from the Contender Series last year. And the Contender Series fighters I was a fan of from last year have not really been doing too well. Outside Payne Talbot, Eduardo just lost, Abdul Karim Al Sawadi lost. I like Danny Barlow, he's a beast. Oban Elliott's good, Payne Talbot's fucking amazing. Let's see where Polastri falls if she follows the Eduardo Mora route of losing. I think she's good. Is she a ready prospect to go into the rankings? No, I definitely do think she has some flaws. She's very young still, 26 years old. Got a nice record, 12-3, so she is experienced. 5'2", very short for strawweight. But she is good. I think she's gonna have some. I think as we see her grow in the UFC, she's going to be very good. And this could be a really intriguing fight. A win here is ginormous for her. And I'll talk about why soon. But, she's good. I'm really excited to see her debut finally. This is her third booked debut. She was meant to fight Knutsson at the beginning of the year, and then she was meant to fight Stephanie Luciano. But now she's getting Knutsson again. So they really want to book this fight. So I'm intrigued why. I guess they see an easy win for Knutsson, which if that's what the UFC sees, and I know that's what everyone else sees, which I think is kind of insane when you got someone as good as Polastri on the other side of the cage. But whatever, we're gonna find out Saturday night how smart the UFC is. So yeah, Polastri, very good fighter. Excited to finally see her debut. Very well-rounded fighter too. Her striking looked very good on Contender Series. Her ground game's good. She's a good fighter, man. Don't count her out. I know the odds are. I know the UFC probably is. Don't count her out. To talk about her opponent, Josefine Knutsson. Josephine in the UFC is a 1-0. I would say coming off Contender Series, but she didn't get a contract. The night she won on Contender Series, she actually had to step in on short notice a couple weeks later to actually get in the UFC. She's great. Knutsson's really fucking good. She's 7-0. In her UFC debut, she stepped on a short notice and dominated Marnik Man, which is not saying much, but still. Fuck, she's meant to fight Aspen Lucindo. That fight would have been really intriguing. But, she's really good. She's a Hamzat training partner, so she has a really good ground game. She actually can make it to a fight, unlike Hamzat. She actually has a gas tank, unlike Hamza. She's actually like shows up every time she's booked to actually fight. She doesn't get sick and fucking cancel out of a fight. Yes, I'm shitting on Hamza. Fuck him. But yeah, Knutsson's very good, and she's definitely one of the most intriguing prospects in the strawweight division right now. Because she's like 7-0, and she does not look like a 7-0 fighter. Like, I get the Marnik Man fight was very boring, but she didn't need to do much. When she's so much better than Marnik, just lay on her and get an easy win. Yeah, it's not fucking exciting, but it's a win. Especially after not getting a contract on a Contender Series, you gotta just get that win, and she did. So, Knutsson's good. Her striking is definitely the thing where her striking's good. But I want to see a little more of it. She definitely, I don't even remember really seeing her strike against Marnik. I think she struck a little bit against Verbeek on Contender Series. So she's just a very good fighter, very solid fighter. She's an interesting prospect, and I'm very excited to see how she continues in the UFC, getting a very tough fight in her second UFC fight. See how she does. I'm excited. The betting odds for this fight have Josefine Knutsson minus 225 to plus 185. I think that's fucking mental. I think people are smoking crack for those odds, bro. Nah. That should be a pick'em. This should be a pick'em in my opinion. I think counting out Polastri that much is insane. Like, I'm not really sure what's making people think Polastri is has really no chance in this fight. Yes, Knutsson's great. Don't get me wrong, Knutsson is fucking fantastic. But Polastri is as well. Yeah, I guess Polastri is a little less experienced. Yes, I know she lost on Contender Series, but she's good, man. She is very good, and I definitely think they're giving Polastri this tough of a debut for a reason. They want to test her. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying that as a lie. Maybe they're just doing this to try and get Knutsson a nice win. But I don't know. I don't know why you would pick Polastri for that. I think there's much easier competition to feed to Knutsson than Julia Polastri, who is far from easy to beat. So. And then on Polastri's side, I know I'm hyping her up a lot. Knutsson's fucking amazing. Her ground game is crazy. Her cardio is crazy good. Her striking might be her fucking weakness, and even that's pretty good, so I'm very intrigued to see what happens in this fight. I think you can flip a coin, and you can pick this fight pretty well. I'm a fan of both, and I hate that one of them has to lose. Either Knutsson has to lose her O, or Polastri has to lose her debut, and it's a fucking tragedy, in my opinion. But it's a high-level fight, one of the best fights on the card, and I cannot wait for it. So I hate to pick this fight because I'm such a fan of both. I've been waiting for Polastri's debut. I'm a big fan of Knutsson. It just sucks. I fucking hate having to see one of them lose, but I think down the line we could see this fight getting ran back in the rankings one day. So. We'll see what happens. Who am I picking? I don't want to pick either. But if I had to pick, striking wise, I think Polastri's better. I think Polastri's better on the feet. Ground game wise, I definitely think Knutsson is stronger, which might mean she's a little better. But Polastri is no slouch on the ground. She won by rear naked choke on a Contender Series, so it's very intriguing. I'm gonna go Polastri. Like, do I care who wins? No, because I'm a big fan of both. I don't want to see either lose. But I'll put my pick in as Polastri, give her some fucking love, since no one is fucking giving her any respect. 15% plus 185. Like, Jesus Christ. Give me Julia Polastri, in my opinion, a pick'em fight. I cannot wait for this fight. Again, I cannot say it enough. It's a shame. Fucking bullshit. This is not getting main card spotlight, but whatever. Give me Julia Polastri by decision. Am I confident? No, because I think you can flip a coin and pick this fight. But I'm gonna go Julia Polastri by decision. Let's see what happens, man. I'm excited. I cannot wait for this fight. I'm also, like, kinda not wanting to see this fight, because one has to lose, so I'll stop rambling on about this fight. Give me Polastri. All I care, you have a fun fight. It sucks to see one lose, but let's see what happens. Polastri by decision. After that, not gonna waste your time on this fight. Definitely don't have much good to say about this fight, because how and why. But let's get to our third fight of the night, as we head to featherweight, I believe. Yes. We head back to featherweight for a fight between Jeka Tenjanganmal Saragih, I said his fucking nickname completely wrong, versus Westin Wilson. Fucking Christ. How the fuck has Westin Wilson got a third fight in the UFC? He is one of the shittiest fighters I've ever fucking seen. I'm not wasting your time with this fight. This is my lock of the night. Jeka Saragih by knockout in the first. Westin Wilson is a fucking joke. It's a tragedy that this guy has got 3 fights in the UFC. He is garbage. Like, and Jeka Saragih ain't even a world beater. He's fine. He's a perfectly fine fighter. Yeah, losing Jubilee's kind of bad. But fucking, he looked great in his last fight, knocking out Lucas Alexander. He should easily beat Westin Wilson. He should beat Westin Wilson without breaking a sweat. Just like Gene Silva, just like Joe Anderson Brito. Jeka Saragih by knockout in the first, my lock of the night. I'm not breaking down a Westin Wilson fight in depth. The dude fucking sucks. He's Wonder Boy without any of the talent. So, give me Jeka Saragih by knockout in the first. Fucking get Westin Wilson out of the UFC. Go to Bellator or PFL, go win a belt over there. You're not doing shit in the UFC, buddy. You suck. Jeka Saragih by knockout in the first. I'm not breaking down that fucking fight. No. I'm not wasting another breath on Westin Wilson. After that, we head to flyweight for our 4th fight of the night. Low level as a low level can get. I brought up that before the Polastri fight that there's a woman's fight on this card that's pure dog shit. Well, here it is. And I can admit that because I actually respect women's MMA, and this is a fight I don't respect at all because they both suck. But, we're gonna watch it no matter what. Fuck. Let's just break it down. In our 4th fight of the night, we head to flyweight for a fight between Crispy Carli Judice versus Gabriella Fernandes. No, I did not read off the co-main event of the next Invicta card. This is really happening in a UFC event. I hate the Apex. Let's just break this down. Flyweight, let's go. Let's talk about Carli Judice first. Judice is making her UFC debut, coming out Contender Series where, yeah, she did lose, but she had the best fight of the season against Ernesta Carrasqueta. That was the best fight of the season last year. Yeah, it would have been it would have been highway robbery if you didn't give Judice a contract. Because that was the best fight of the season. So, yeah, it was just great, and if you've not seen that fight, go watch that fight. I don't recommend a lot of DWCS fights. I don't recommend a lot of fights in general during my breakdowns, but if you've not seen that fight, go watch that fight, because it's just great. But, Judice did get a contract off of that fight, and now she's making her debut. Ernesta's UFC debut did not go very well. She looked okay, but she did lose. About a month later, here's Judice's UFC debut. She's not very good. 3-1, very inexperienced. 25 years old, so she is getting better. I've never heard of Head Kicks MMA. Does anyone go there? Oh god, Aaron Phillips. Aaron Phillips is the best fighter to go through your gym. Yeah, you're fucked. She looks fine on Contender Series. Her striking looks good. She's a good kickboxer, I guess, from what I've seen. Which in this fight she's not gonna want to be a kickboxer, and I'll talk about that in a second. But Judice, very green. Only her 5th pro fight, but it is in the UFC, so I gotta give her that. let's see if she's improved. She's had a lot of time off, been off for a good amount of time now, so let's see how much she's improved as a fighter. Very young, very inexperienced and young. Let's see how she does in a very favorable debut, in my opinion. I really don't get these betting odds, so this is a very favorable fight for Judice if she uses a simple game plan, so yeah. To talk about her opponent, Gabriella Fernandes. Gabriella in the UFC is 0-2. Her 2 losses are to Jasmine Jasdavicius and Teresa Bleda. Not too bad people to lose to, but with how awful she looked, yeah, they're not great L's. In her debut, she did step in on short notice against Jasmine Jasdavicius, where she was in fact the favorite. I remember people talking about that fight, and I'm not sure what people saw. I don't know why people think Jasmine Jasdavicius sucks, but that's their problem. Yeah, she got completely taken down and fucking annihilated for 15 minutes. And then her second fight against Teresa Bleda, much of the same. She got fucking ragdolled and beat up for 15 minutes. Fernandes has not really got to shown what she's actually good at. She's a boxer. She's a boxing coach or some shit, and she's a boxer. She can't do anything besides that. She can't stop a takedown. She can't get a takedown. She can't clinch. She can't fucking wrestle, grapple, kickbox. She's not good at anything outside of throwing hands, which we've not even seen her. We've not even got to see her do that, because I think in the Jasdavicius fight she got held down for like 11 minutes, and then against Bleda it was like 10 minutes. So we've not really got to see what Gabby can do, but maybe in this fight we'll be able to see her striking. But even then, I don't know if we will. Again, if Judice has any fucking fight IQ, we won't. And we'll see much the same as in Fernandez' first 2 UFC fights. So, but if we do get to see Fernandez' striking, I'm intrigued, because that is her skill set, is just boxing. So we'll see how she does if we do get a boxing match here. But you never know, Judice might become fucking Habib, like she should. So yeah, this is definitely Gabriella's last chance, because again, an L here and you're getting cut. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The betting odds for this fight have Gabriella Fernandes minus 230 to plus 190. I think you're fucking insane. What are these betting odds makers doing this week? They're fucking snorting crack, bro. Like, what are they just not paying attention because all the bullshit around Conor and Hamzat? Like, what? How the fuck is Gabriella Fernandes minus 230 on a 2-fight losing streak? Like, I don't get it. I don't see it. This should be... Fuck, it's such a low-level fight. I would say pick 'em. If not, Judice should even be the favorite, because I think we've seen more good from her in the Contender Series fight than we saw in Fernandez's 2 UFC fights. I don't get what the fucking betting odds are. They just the betting odds here are predicting Judice does not become a wrestler. And if that's what you're predicting, sure. Then Fernandez better be a really good boxer, because Judice can strike. She's not good at it, but she can do it. I don't get these betting odds. I really don't. And especially if Judice does come in here with the game plan of wrestling, it's over. Burn those fucking tickets and fucking burn those Fernandez tickets and put in one for Judice, because fucking Fernandez can't stop a fucking late breeze. So it's such a low-level fight, though. It's such a fucking low-level fight. Fuck, man. How is this above Knutsson Polastri? Oh, I just fucking saw that. How dare they? What the fuck, man? How is this above Costa? Whatever. Give me Carli Judice. I think she'll be smart enough to shoot takedowns. I think if she's done 4 minutes of tape study, she can see, oh, all I gotta do is shoot takedowns, and you'll win. It's the fucking cheat code. Yeah, Judice's gas tank ain't great, but fuck, if you're just holding Fernandez down for 5 minutes, can't be that fucking hard. So give me Carli Judice by decision. If it becomes a striking match, I'm not gonna sweat bullets because I could give a fuck. But give me Judice by decision. I think if she's any bit smart, she uses takedowns and wins. But if she's stupid and wants to strike, then we'll see what happens. What's the size on them? 5'6", 5'7". Okay, so Judice does have a little advantage in reach and height, so that's intriguing. Give me Judice by decision. Use takedowns and win. Simple as that. I think Gabriella Fernandes -1 230 is fucking mental. So I'm not saying bet on Judice because you really shouldn't. But fuck, if she gets a takedown quick in round 1, put that live bet in now. So yeah, give me Carli or Judice by decision. Low fucking level. After that, we get back to actually good MMA for a great fight in the bantamweight division, because I'm very excited for this fight, because my boy is in it. And then our 5th fight of the night, we head to bantamweight for a fun fight between Garrett Armfield versus Brady Bam Hiestand. Very fun fight here at bantamweight between two fighters who are very good. They're definitely hitting their strides in the UFC, and we'll see what happens here. So let's get right into it by talking about Garrett Armfield first. Armfield in UFC is 2-1, and his UFC debut he did lose to David Onama, but then since he's went 2-0 back at bantamweight, beating Kazama and Brad Katona, even though that Katona fight was probably a robbery. But yeah, Armfield is really hitting his stride in UFC, thanks to that Trey Ogden camp. Trey Ogden, it's Armfield, Ogden. There's someone else. Who's the other guy there? There's a third guy who's kind of doing good in the UFC. Yeah, Mike Breeden. So yeah, that big 3 down there. Breeden, Armfield, and Ogden, both some guys hitting their fucking strides in the UFC right now. So yeah, Armfield's good. Armfield's really shown, like, he has good striking. He showed that against Kazama, even though Kazama is a human punching bag still. I'm not even, like, the same thing I say for Mel Costa. That Onama fight's kind of whatever. It was his debut on short notice, up a weight class. Like, what the fuck? And actually Onama didn't look that good in that fight, so. But since he went 2-0 back at his weight class, and yeah, Kazama can, but a win's a win. And then Brad Katona, a terrible fight that he probably lost. No, I'm not impressed with his wins, but they are wins against low-level guys. So, and he is looking better than expected. So, he's not a bad fighter. I don't know how good he is. I'm not really sold on how good he is yet, because we've not really seen him against anyone good yet outside Onama, who he did lose to. But he's not bad. He's definitely not a pushover, and he's riding high right now. 2-fight winning streak, more than we ever thought he would get. And he's getting a nice fight here against a very tough Brady Hiestand, the hardest fight of his career at bantamweight so far. See how he does, man. Riding high. Let's see if Armfield can pull off another fucking miracle. He's a good striker. Got some good power in his hands. Let's see what he can do. To talk about his opponent and my boy who follows me on Twitter, Brady Bam Hiestand. He's back, finally, and yeah, he's also 2-1 in the UFC, really 2-0, because do you really want to count tough? That's for you to decide. Brady got in the UFC through The Ultimate Fighter, where he got to the finale and lost to Ricky Torcios in a banger, and then since then he has went 2-0, beating Fernie Garcia and Dana Bagarel. He's very good. He's a very good fighter. His main weakness is his striking, because he leaves his chin up in the air. I think he's been knocked down in all 3 of his UFC fights. But he is good. His gas tank's good. His wrestling's very good. It's his striking which is definitely the most worrisome thing with him, because his chin's wide open, like every time. So. But yeah, he's back after over a year break. He was meant to fight a couple times in the last while. Meant to fight Damon Blackshear, that didn't happen. Meant to fight Renier Nakamura, thankfully that didn't happen. So now he's back against Garrett Armfield, a much lower fight than those two, and let's see how he does here. We'll see how much he's improved, because again, his ground game's great. All that's great. It's his striking that's definitely the problem with him. Like, and his actual striking ain't the issue. It's his defensive striking. He leaves his chin up. He really doesn't block shots at all. That's his biggest problem. But besides that, he's very good. He's a very good fighter, very young, 25 years old, only 7-2. He's good. This is his 10th fight. See how he does here. This is a good test for him after over a year break and having a staph infection and all that. So we see how he does here. He's good. He's come from that fucking Michael Chiesa, Juliana Pena gym. A couple fighters we've seen come from down there lately. Fucking who else have we seen come from there? I swear there's more fighters who came from that gym in the past, but I guess not. But yeah, Brady, definitely very good prospect in bantamweight division. Has a lot of time to still improve as a fighter, and we'll see how far he can really improve, how much he has improved in this fight at least, because we don't know what's going to happen down the line, but right now we'll see how much he's improved since his last fight. Which, actually he looked good in his last fight, and I predicted him to win as an underdog in his last fight, and Don is a very good fighter, so that's a nice win to come off of, so let's see what happens here. The betting odds for this fight have Garrett Armfield minus 170 to plus 140. I don't know about that one, Chief. I'd have it a pick'em, another pick'em. I don't really know how you can say either should be the favorite. Yeah, Garrett's better on the feet, but his ground game is definitely not up to Brady's, and Brady's not very great on the feet, but his ground game is very good. So it's wherever the fight takes place is probably where the fighter will win. If it's on the feet, probably it's going to be Garrett's fight. Maybe. And if it's on the ground, it's definitely going to be Brady's fight. Like, to go to the old, I've brought this up a couple times in the past before. What do I think is better, Brady's striking or Garrett's ground game? I'll probably say Brady's striking, but the one thing that's really making me question that decision is Brady's going to leave his chin wide open, and we saw Armfield exploit a fighter like that in Kazama. Brady's 10 times better than Kazama, but his chin will still be wide fucking open from what we've seen in his last couple fights. Maybe he's fixed that problem, we're going to find out. But if he hasn't, he'll probably get dropped. But Brady's good at recovering. He's done that in his last 2 fights now. So we'll see how he does here. Very good fight between 2 dudes on 2 fight winning streaks, riding high. Let's see who gets the W. Of course, I'm going Brady Hiestand. Dude follows me on Twitter. And even if I take away all bias, I do think Brady is the better fighter. I do think Brady's better. I think his gas tank's a little better. I think his striking can hold up to an extent if he keeps his chin down. I think he's good. I think his cardio could be better. Wrestling's good and all that shit. I think Brady might be the better fighter here. We're going to find out how good Armfield is because he's kind of been fighting cans. But we're going to really see how good Armfield really is in this fight. So, give me Brady Hiestand by decision. Could we get a finish? Possibility. Very high possibility, not likely. I don't think. Maybe a TKO or a submission late, like round 2 or 3, but I'm not going to really hang my hat on that prediction. So, give me Brady Hiestand by decision. I think he should be able to get the takedowns, wear Brady down, or Garrett down, and get the win. So, give me Brady Hiestand by decision. Should be a good fight, gonna be an interesting fight, and give me my boy, Bam Bam, by decision. At least one Bam Bam in UFC can win a fight, because Tuivasa and Brian Barberena ain't doing too hot, so, yeah. After that, we head back to flyweight, but this time we head to men's flyweight, which has a very important night for them. They have 4 fights in the division going on. 5 fights, my bad. No, yeah, 4. Yeah, they have 4 fights going on in the division on this card, and it's a pretty big night for flyweight, so we'll see what happens here. As in our first flyweight fight of the night, definitely the least important one of the 4, we have a pretty whatever fight between Nate Mayhem Maness versus Jimmy the Brick Flick. It's a fight. I could care less. I'll break it down a little bit, but I'm thinking if you know these two, you know how this fight's gonna go. So, yeah. But let's start with Nate Maness. Nate in the UFC is 4-2. His 4 wins are Johnny Munoz, Luke Sanders, Tony Gravely, and Bendeis Mandonca. His 2 losses are Umar Nurmagomedov and Tagir Ulanbekov. He does not like fighting them Russian dudes. He had a good little run at bantamweight. He did go 3-1. His only loss was to Umar, which get Umar Namago fucking Medov. But then since moving on to flyweight, he has went 1-1 in his first fight. Like I said, he got fucking crushed by Tagir Ulanbekov, who we'll talk about very shortly. But he fought Taylor Lafferty, so I forgot about that. And then in the last fight against Maness Mandanka as a big underdog with his job on the line, he beat him. Mandanka fought like a fucking moron and got KO'd. So Mandanka was just trying to go for like a fucking shitty leg lock and just let his head get pounded until he got put out. So good job, dumbass. Mandanka pretty much handed Maness that win, but it did show Nate is. It seems like Maness is kind of improving as a fighter. Like he's like, if you take away his 2 losses, which were to maybe the best guys at fucking bantamweight and a top 15 flyweight, he's doing pretty good for himself. He's beat everyone else, so. Maness ain't a terrible fighter. I still don't know if he should even be at flyweight. I still think the cut's a little scary. He's 5'10". He always looks drained as fuck on the scale. But he's got a win. He could get another win here. If it's working, bro. So his striking's not bad. His ground game's not terrible. He's a decent fighter. He's slowly improved as a fighter. I feel like he has grown into the flyweight. Like, as much as I don't love the cut for him, I do think he's maybe grown into the flyweight division a little bit. So, we'll see how he does here. A very winnable fight. We'll see how he does. He's not fighting a Russian, so he has a chance to win. So, yeah, Nate Maness, 3rd fight at flyweight. See if he can go above 500 on the win streak, on the wins. To talk about his opponent, Jimmy Flick, who is somehow still in the UFC. In the UFC, he is 2-2. Does he do every fucking sport in the world? He is 2-2. His 2 wins are Cody Durden and Malcolm Gordon, and his 2 losses are Charles Johnson and Alessandro Costa. And really no point coming out of Contender Series a couple years ago. No really point talking about the Durden fight. That was in 2020. After the fight, he did retire for a couple years, and then he came back against Charles Johnson, looked terrible, and then he fought Alessandro Costa, looked even worse. And then he did finally get a win when he fought Malcolm Gordon earlier this year in Canada, and he got his first win in 4 years. So that's why he's still in the UFC. He's not very good. You know where you're getting. Yeah, you know what you are getting with Jimmy Flick. He's going to try and sub you. He can't strike. He can't throw a punch. He's just trying to get on the inside and submit you. Sometimes it works, other times it don't. I don't know if it'll work in this fight. We'll see if it does. Not very much. The Jimmy Flick game is so simple. He's kind of like I guess the best I don't even know if this is a great comparison, but he's kind of like a middleweight Paul Craig. Like, he can't do anything besides sub you. He can't strike. He can't block. He has no defense outside of just let's grapple. So he's not the worst fighter in the world, just he's really one-dimensional. He's very easily beatable, as we saw in his 2 L's. So we'll see what the Brick can do here. If he's riding high off a win, see what happens here. The betting on the first fight are a little shocking. I think they're a little extreme, as we have Nate Maness at -400. I think he's even up to like 500 at this point. To Jimmy Flick's +310. I get it. I do get it. He's much bigger. He's much bigger reach, better fighter, and I do think Maness will win. At -400 on Nate Maness, you're losing me a little bit. I'm gonna go. Maness should be like maybe -250 at most. Like, he should win. I don't think he's gonna get beat, but I don't know if he should be fucking -500. So, give me Nate Maness to win this fight. I think he'll be able to be the better fighter here. On the feet, no doubt he's going to be the better fighter. On the ground, he will have to guard submissions, but Jimmy Flick's gas tank kind of sucks. So if he can survive round 1, he's definitely in for a fun night. So give me Nate Maness by decision. I think he'll be able to stop the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and beat Jimmy. So that's what I'm going to say is going to happen. I still don't know if I love that -4 to 500 price tag. But whatever, maybe the crowd's seeing something I'm not, so give me Nate Maness by decision. Maybe he gets a finish. I wouldn't be very shocked. But like, I could see a ground and pound finish, but we'll see. Give me Maness by decision. As of right now, maybe I'll change it. I doubt it, but give me Maness by decision. And now we go to our featured prelim, a fucking banger that is somehow not the co-main event, because even though it's maybe even the best fight on the card, because holy shit, this fight's amazing. As we head to flyweight for a goddamn banger between Tagir Ulanbekov versus Joshua the Fearless Van. What a fucking amazing fight. This being on a prelim is a fucking crime. This is a pay-per-view main card level fight in my opinion. This is such a good fight and I cannot wait. Enough. Well, let's just get right into it. Tagir Ulanbekov. Tagir in the UFC is 4-1 and his wins are Bruno Silva, Alan Nascimento, Nate Maness, and Cody Durden. His only loss is to Tim Elliott, even though questionable decision there, questionable tactics used by Timmy in that fight. A lot of questionable shit in that fight, but whatever. Tagir's good. Tagir's really good. A Khabib student. He's had Khabib in his corner before. And he's good. Tagir's really good. His striking's not terrible, but we all know his ground game is where it's at. Out wrestling a guy like Cody Durden in his last fight, very impressive. He can't get a consistent fucking fight schedule because every fight he has gets fucking canceled somehow. But yeah, he's good. Tagir is very, very good, and definitely I feel like a guy who's kind of been forgotten about at flyweight at times. Like, he's been ranked forever, but he's not really, like, he fought Tim Elliott and kind of got robbed. Like, but then, like, he always looks good. Like, in the last two fights, he looked really good against Nate and Cody, but now he's kind of just, like, it really feels like now people are talking about him a little more, because he's in this banger with Van, so I think Tagir is very talented. I think he could be a top 10 dude. Not a champion. I don't think a champion. I think Flyweight's 2 at this point. I don't think he could be a champion. Maybe a couple years ago. But he could be a top 10 dude, especially with the guys who are in the top 10, like Perez and Nicolau. He could be a top 10 dude. So, but first, before he even gets there, he has to fight Josh Van, which that's hard enough. So, but Tagir is very good. We know what he's trying to do, though. Get you to the ground and beat you. His gas tank is a little iffy. His striking is good, but it's not great. He's good, but he definitely is in for a really tough night here, as his opponent is Mr. Josh Van. Van in the UFC is 3-0. His 3 wins are Zalgas Zumagulov, Kevin Borjas, and Felipe Bunis. This kid is stupid good. Like, it's scary how good this kid is. I saw about this earlier when I was hearing when I watched a video breaking down this fight. It was Gambling Addicts, who's on my channel page. Just go to home page and you'll see I got a couple channels linked. The best comparison I have for Josh Van, and I saw this, a prime Piotr Jan. I think Piotr Jan is a very interesting comparison for him because Van is a slow starter. Like, round 1 he'll probably lose. I think he's lost round 1 in every fight he's had so far. But then he turns it on in round 2 and becomes a fucking psychopath. And we've seen that, especially in his in all 3 of his fights, when round 2 hits, the fight begins, and he wrecks these dudes. He wrecked Zalgas Zumagulov, he wrecked Kevin Borjas, he completely dismantled Felipe Bunis. He's good. Joshua Van is scary good. And this kid, and he's only like 24. He's 22 years old, 10-1. He's already fighting a top 15 guy, and probably should win. Like, he's a top 15 dude. Like, Josh Van is scary. Like, this kid is good. He doesn't gas. He has good striking. He has good power. His ground game we've not seen yet, from what I remember. We're gonna see it here. He's good. And a win here against Tagir Ulanbekov. Dude, this kid, what was John Jones' title record? Like 22? 23 years old? Van could break that. He's good. I cannot wait to see Van and Tagir lock horns. 2 amazing fighters in the flyweight division. God, this is such a good fight. Let's fucking go. The betting odds for this fight have Tagir Ulanbekov minus 225 to plus 180. That's insane, man. These betting odds on this card are fucking cracked out. Pick 'em. Again, a pick 'em. Round 1, Tagir will probably win, takedowns, all the shabazz, maybe get a close to a submission. I think round 2 is when we're going to see Van wake up and just dominate. Maybe. I don't want, and dominate might be a strong word. I think round 2 we'll see Van wake up, start going to the body, landing some good shots. Tagir's going to be gassing out a little bit. I think we'll be 1-1 going into the third, and I think Van might really take over then. We might even get a finish. And if a Joshua Van finishes Tagir Ulanbekov, bro, yo, this guy's good. But I don't want to count Tagir out. Tagir is really fucking good. He could fucking win this fight. He could take Van down for 3 rounds and win. You never know. This is a fight between 2 very high level great fighters, and when you get a fight like that, you're in for a treat. And we're in for a treat. So I can't wait for this fight. I say the best fight on the card. I think this is better than the main event, and this should be the co-main event. So, and this is a huge fight at flyweight, man. Huge fight. The flyweight better be watching this one. It's a big one. But who am I going to pick to win this fight? Give me Joshua Van. I think he's going to take over in that second round and do his work, take over in that third round, do his work, and get a W. Maybe even get a finish. I'm not going to pick a finish, but I think he could get it. So, give me Joshua Van by decision. I'm excited. I think this is either going to be a Van showcase against a high-level dude. Could be Tagir just killing the hype train. Could be a banger. It could be so many great things. But I'm going to go Josh Van. I think this kid's ready for the spotlight. I think he's ready to show up and show out. So give me Joshua Van by decision in the best fight of the night to end the prelims. How the fuck is it on the prelims? I'll never know. What a great fight. So those are the prelims. Not very good. These 2 fights are good. Westin, Wilson, enough said. This ain't very good. This is good. And I'm not very hype. And then this is amazing. So, they're decent. Not great prelims. Couple bangers on it. Couple duds. But now we go to the main card. An Ikram Alshgarovless main card. But still an okay main card nonetheless. As we begin the night in the highest weight class we have on the card, I believe. Yep. As we head to welterweight. That's the biggest weight class on the card. That says a lot. As in our first fight of the main card at welterweight, we begin with how the fuck is this above Van and Tagir? Adam Fugitt versus Josh Bushido Quinlan. Again, how the fuck is this above Van and Tagir? What a weird fight, and what a bad fight to start the main card. It's not a bad fight overall, it's just a bad fight on a main card over Joshua Van and Tagir. Okay, enough. Let's get into this fight. It's not very good. 2 bad fighters. Let's see who wins. Let's start the main card by talking about Adam Fugitt. Adam in the UFC is 1-2. His 1 win is against Yusaku Kinoshita, and his 2 losses are against Michael Morales and Mike Malott. He is not fighting guys with the initials MM. He's not a very good fighter. Yeah, he beat Kinoshita, but Kinoshita kind of is a bad fighter. He lost to Michael Morales, very understandable. He lost to Mike Malott, that ain't aging greatly, even though he didn't look bad. He has not looked bad in these losses. He went to round 3 of Morales. He kind of looked a little bit competitive against Fugitt. He's not a terrible fighter. He's not good, but he's not the worst in the world. So, and he's overperformed in fights at times. Like I said, he did beat Kinoshita. Is he a UFC level fighter? Probably not. But, yeah, 35 years old. Definitely, not, I don't know. I don't see much great in Fugitt. His striking ain't great. His grappling ain't great. His cardio's okay. He's just not, I've not seen anything, like, he's not shown, like, even in his win, like, there's nothing I've seen from him that makes me say, wow, this guy's actually kind of good. I've just been like, yep, it's Adam Fugitt. Like, nothing has really impressed me of Fugitt yet. Maybe he'll prove me wrong this week, but nothing has impressed me with Fugitt. He's just been there. So, he got a win at least, a lot more than most fighters can say. So, yeah. To talk about his opponent, Bushido Quinlan, a guy who's definitely on the downslide at the moment. He's also 1-2 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series. In his UFC debut, he pretty much killed Jason Witt with the vicious left hook from hell. And then in his last 2 fights, he's lost to Trey Waters and Danny Barlow. Not too bad fighters to lose to. He's looked awful in those fights, though. Trey Waters picked him apart at range like Trey Waters does best, and Danny Barlow beat the piss out of him. He got finished not even that long ago, so I'm actually shocked he's back so quickly after that fight. And yeah, he needs a win here badly. 31 years old. Quinlan's a weird case. I don't know if he's good or not. He has he has good power in his hands, but he actually has to connect with you, which is something he's not been able to do lately. Yeah, he's been fighting really tall, lengthy dudes. Trey Waters is a fucking giant. Danny Barlow is taller than him, so he is fighting someone his size for once. But he's just not very good. Like, his cardio sucks. His ground game, I don't think we've really even seen it. He's not really good from what I've seen. And I feel like, I don't know if he's panicking at this point, and that's why he's fighting so quickly. He's like, I need to get a win. But I'm not been impressed with Quinlan, man. The Witt, and even with Jason Witt, beautiful knockout. It's Jason Witt. If you breathe on Jason Witt, you're gonna knock him out. So I don't know. I've not really been too impressed with Quinlan, and if you told me he was fighting Adam Fugitt a year ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, he'll win easily. But now, at 31 years old, on a 2-fight skid, getting beat up badly in both fights, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Quinlan's not very good. Not very good at all. The betting odds for this fight are pretty much a pick-em. I think Quinlan's a tiny favorite right now at like minus 125. I agree with this near-even pick-em odds. You got two bad fighters who need a win. Who wants it more? Who's the better fighter? We're going to find that out. If I have to break down this fight in simple terms, on the feet, I think Fugitt might be the more skilled striker, but Quinlan definitely has the power advantage. And in the ground game, I think Fugitt's better. Cardio, I think Fugitt's better, unless I'm forgetting Fugitt's cardio. I think Fugitt's kind of a better fighter. Yeah, he is 4 years older, but he is not coming off a bad knockout. He got submitted, and that was a year ago. Quinlan got beat up badly 3 months ago. So, and not even that long ago, he got beat up by Trey Waters. So he's coming off 2 bad beatings. So, not really. It's pretty much, who do you think sucks less? It's can versus can to an extent. And who do you think sucks less? Who do you think wants this win more? Who do I think's gonna win this fight? And this might be a hot take. Give me Adam Fugitt. I think Fugitt can fight smarter. If he can just survive that power in round 1, not get hit later, because after round 1, all of Quinlan has is that power shot. If he can just fight smart for fucking round 1, win round 2 and 3, Adam Fugitt won. So, give me Adam Fugitt. I think he will be the smarter, better fighter here, and I think he should be able to get the win here. Which is, I never thought I would say, but my pick here is going to be Adam Fugitt by decision. We'll see what happens. Confident? No. But, we'll see what happens. Low-level MMA, never know what can happen. Give me Adam Fugitt by decision. Fight smarter, not harder. After that, we head back to flyweight for the 3rd time tonight for another intriguing fight and another good prospect that has no neck, as in our 3rd fight at flyweight tonight and our 2nd fight of the main card. We have Asu Zulakar Almabaev versus Jose Lobo Solariono. I said that wrong. Johnson. Solitarno. Whatever. Yeah, this fight really ain't too complex, but I'll break down anyway. So, let's begin with Asu Almabaev. Almabaev in the UFC is 2-0. His 2 wins are Ode Osborne and CJ Vergara. This kid's really good. He's very good, 30 years old, 19-2. He's very fucking good. His ground game's scary good. I don't think we've seen much of his striking yet, but we haven't had to, because he can just take guys down at will, and he fought Tagir Ulanbekov. Interesting. Seems like all the flyweights tonight somehow link to each other in one way or another. Asu is really good, one of the best prospects in the division right now. And to be on a card like this, which is a big night for flyweight, that's big for him to be on the same card as Tatsuro, Josefine, Tagir. This is a big night for him, and on the main card, no less. this is interesting. Asu's very good. And with, what wasn't it, Bekzat, or whatever his name was, the guy that Charles Johnson beat, getting fraud checked. Kazakhstan really has Asu at flyweight now, so. And Kazakhstan don't got a lot of fighters. They got Shavkat, they got fucking, Marina Akapova, and, that's about fucking it, so. They got Asu, who's very good. And we'll see how he does here. This is a step down from who he's been fighting. This is a step down from Ode and CJ. So, see how he does here. The kid's very talented. To talk about his opponent, Jose Johnson, the now 6-foot tall flyweight. Jose in the UFC is 1-1, coming off Contender Series. In the UFC debut, he got beat by Damon Blackshear by Twister. And then in his last fight, he beat Chad and Hellinger by submission himself. So, yeah, he's not a bad fighter. Like, Jose's not a bad fighter. His striking's alright. His ground game was terrible. He's just tall. Like, that's the main thing for me. He's just really fucking tall. And, like, I guess that's why he's moving down to flyweight, because he's just really tall and he thinks he can bully these guys. But if that is what he thinks, they're giving him a terrible fight for that, because I don't think he's going to be able to bully Asu like that, so. And unless he's fixed his ground game in the last couple months, he's in for a long fucking night, because this dude's really tall, but he can't stay on his fucking feet, so. We'll see how the 6'1 guy does that flyweight. So, hey, he fought at featherweight, now he's on a flyweight. What the fuck's wrong with you? Eat a burger. Fucking, like, Jesus, man. The betting odds for this fight have Asu Almabaev minus 420, nice, to plus 310. Yeah, you could have Asu to minus 450 in my opinion. He should win this fight pretty easily. Yeah, he probably is at a giant disadvantage on the feet in the striking department, but he should be able to get the fight to the ground pretty easily. Just get on a leg and take him down. Jose has no takedown defense, as we saw him at bantamweight. I doubt he'll have much more at flyweight when he's even more drained. And we'll see if Jose has improved. But this is like, again, if Jose thought he was gonna come down to flyweight and bully someone, they gave him a very unfavorable matchup here in Asu Almabaev. So give me Asu Almabaev to win this fight. I think he's gonna beat up Jose pretty badly and probably tire him out. So give me Asu by price submission in the second. Yeah, probably second, maybe third round. I'm leaning the second round submission, but we'll see. Asu should win this fight. Asu, I don't think he's gonna get fraud checked by Jose Johnson, unless the size is that much of a problem for Asu, but I don't think it will be. So give me Asu Almabaev by submission in the second. Get to the ground. Don't even waste your time not being able to strike with him. And just get a nice quick win. So give me Asu Almabaev by submission in the second. Let's see if the weight bully can do a fraud checking. Let's hope not. Almabaev submission in the second. After that, we had to bantamweight for the hardest fight on the card to predict in my, well, maybe the hardest fight. This and Polastri are very difficult. But this fight is very intriguing and very fun, so let's see who wins, as we had to bantamweight for a battle of veterans at this point, as we have Miles, Chapo, Johns versus D. Silva, Douglas Silva, D. Andrade. What a great fight. Like, well, God, man, this card's just full of really good fights. So, see what happens. We'll talk about Miles Johns, who I swear I just broke a fight down of his. Because I did. Because he just fought 3 months ago against Cody Gibson and took no damage, so, yeah. Miles in the UFC is a whopping 5-2-1. His wins are, coming out Contender Series, his wins are Cole Smith, Kevin Natividad, Andre Anderson Dos Santos, Vince Morales, and Cody Gibson. His only losses are to Mario Bautista and John Castaneda, and he had a no contest to Dan Argueta. I think he popped for something to get that fight overturned. Was it weed? What did he pop for? Again, it's about for elevated lows. Oh, sure. Yeah, so really he's 6-2. But yeah, John's very good. I don't really want to say much about John's here because I just broke 5 of his downs not long ago. But he is very good. He's very well-rounded. The worst part of his game is probably his gas tank, but even that's not terrible. His striking's good. He has good power in his hands. He has really good ground game, not cardio, really good ground game, and he's a really solid fighter. He really seems to be putting everything together right now, getting on a 3-fight winning streak. And let's see if he can make it a 4-fight winning streak. Very tough fight here against the veteran. But Miles Johns is really good. He definitely, like I said, he's definitely a dude who's finally putting it all together as a fighter. So we'll see what he can do here. He's very young still, only 30. Dude, when Miles Johns is fighting at his best, he can be a really solid fighter. And I think that's what we've been seeing lately of him against Morales, against Argueta, against Gibson. We're seeing a very well-rounded, good fighter. So, we'll see if he can continue that streak and a big step up in competition. Because he is fighting the OG, the 40-year-old veteran, Douglas Silva de Andrade. Douglas in the UFC is 7-5. His 7 wins are, well, the ones that Cody Gibson, what are the fucking odds? Henry, whoever the fuck, Marlon Vera, Henan Barao, Gastano Perello, Sergey Morozov, and Cody Stamen. His losses are Zubair Tuhugov, Rob Font, Piotr Yan, Lerone Murphy, and Said Nurmagomedov. Yeah, he's really good. Like, when the worst person you've lost to is Rob Font and Zubair Tuhugov, you've not been losing a lot. Like, Jesus. When your last 3 losses are Piotr Yan, Lerone Murphy, and Said Nurmagomedov, you're doing something right. Douglas is a great fighter. Douglas is still a very good fighter. He's been off for a year, which I don't know how much I love for a 40-year-old bantamweight, but he is very good. He's very good, coming off a win against Stamen. He's 3-2 in his last 5. He had that crazy Sergey Morozov fight. Like, he's good. He had a win over Cheeto in 2018. He's good. He's really good. Can't really say much, man. 40 years old, he hits like a truck. He's strong. He's fucking good. Like, I know the age is definitely, again, definitely a red flag with him, but he's good. I can't really say much else. I think he's been one of the most underrated fighters in the bantamweight division, at least for a minute. And not fighting often is definitely a big cause of that. But when you're 40, what can you really do? So Silva's good, man. He's a really well-rounded fighter as well, just like Miles, and we'll see how he does here. Very, very good fight. The bang after this fight I have Miles is a pick'em, pretty much, which I agree with. I don't know how you can really see a favorite in this fight. I think you can flip a coin and pick the winner. Who am I gonna go with? I really don't even know. I really don't know which side I'm even leaning towards. I could see both sides winning. If we're breaking it down skill-wise, striking, probably Douglas Silva de Andrade was close. Power, probably fucking even. They both fucking hit like trucks. Ground game, probably Miles. I think Miles Johns probably has a better ground game. Cardio, probably Douglas Silva de Andrade. So it's just a really even fight. Like, the 8-year age difference is big. Miles just fought like a couple fucking weeks ago, it feels like, as Silva has been off for a year. So it's an interesting fight, very good fight. Who do I think's gonna win? Again, flip a coin and pray is what I would say, but since I have to put a pick in, give me... Right now, I might change this pick, I don't know. Heat of the moment, fucking gun to the head. Give me Miles Johns. I think he could implement the wrestling, tire Douglas out a little bit. He's good on the feet. He's just... flip a fucking coin and pray. My pray, as of right now, will be Miles Johns. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for this fight. I think it's going to be a banger. Sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna go Miles Johns by decision. I might change that, I might not. I have no idea how to read this fight, to be honest. But, yeah, not really much to say. Give me Miles Johns by decision. tough fight to predict. Good luck predicting this fight right. I feel like no matter who I pick, I'll be wrong. So I'm just gonna say Miles Johns as of right now. Maybe I'll stick with it. Maybe I won't. We'll see later. Yeah, not very much else to say. After that, I guess we head into our co-main event of the evening, because no Ikram Aliskerov and nothing has been updated yet, so I guess this is the co-main, and if this is the co-main, what the fuck? If this ain't the co-main, and this is the card if this ain't the card order, my bad. This is what Tabology has right now. I didn't want to wait any longer to record this, so I hide out the card order. It's a big deal. I'll have timestamps you want to watch it in fucking order. Like, if you want to watch this fight, then this fight, whatever the fuck, so, yeah. But enough about that, let's get into our co-main, I'm using quotation marks, as we head back to featherweight for a very bad fight between Lucas Alexander versus Timmy Twilight Cuamba. I really don't want to waste a lot of time on this fight, because they both suck, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this, because again, they both suck, so... Yeah, Lucas Alexander in the UFC is 2-1. No, I'm not going to click on their profiles because I don't care. He knocked out Mike Trezano in his debut fight, which was a great fight, but since he's been brought back down to earth, losing to Pat Sabatini and Andre Fili, he's not very good. He can have fun fights, but he's not very good at fighting. Not great cardio, not really great wrestling, not really great conditioning. Not very great striking, not very great at anything. He's good at having a banger, but that's about it. When it gets technical, he loses, and when he's fighting someone good like Andre Fili, he gets completely dominated. So, yeah, Lucas Almeida is not very good. Alexander is the lightweight, so yeah, Lucas Almeida, not very good. Seems like that's a running theme with guys named Almeida in the UFC. To talk about his opponent, Timmy Twilight, manly nickname. Timmy is 0-1 in the UFC. He came in on short notice to fight Balaji Oki. He got beat. Didn't look too bad though, but he did lose. Yeah, I don't think he's a UFC level fighter. I don't think he's a good fighter. If I remember, was his fucking Contender Series fight a robbery? I swear I remember it being like a robbery or some bullshit. Yeah, it was a fucking blatant robbery. So, he's just not good. I've not seen anything impressive from him. Yeah, he looked okay against Oki, but did he look okay, or did Oki just really fight like shit? That's for you to decide, I guess. I say Oki just looked like shit, so... Yeah, I'm not impressed with Timmy. I've not seen anything to be impressed with Timmy. And I can say the same thing for Lucas Almeida, to be honest. So, it's just, like, I get why they booked this fight. It's two bad fighters that could have a fun fight, but why is this on the main card? Why is this over Josh Van, Miles Johns, Asu, Polastri, Hiestand, Costa even? Like, why is this above all these fights? And if this is really the co-main, brother, what the fuck? UFC. We love you and we hate you. We more hate you than love you lately. The betting odds for this fight have Timmy Twilight at -180 to +150. Sure. No, I would have to pick them. They both suck. It's just like the Fugitt fight. Who do you think sucks less? Who am I going to pick here? I think they both suck. I think I'll go Timmy. I think I trust him a little more. I think he's a little bit better of a fighter. I think if it gets technical, he'll be able to win. I think he could get takedowns. I think he might have the better gas tank. I think his striking might be a little more technical. So give me Timmy Twilight by decision. Maybe I'll change that pick. I doubt it. I just don't think Almeida's very good, and I think Timmy should be able to win this fight. Maybe they both suck. So again, it's kind of who do you think sucks less. In my opinion, I'm gonna say Timmy Twilight sucks less. So give me Timmy Cuamba by decision. I hate that I have to pick either of these cans. So if that's the co-main event, Ikram, why? And now for the main event of the evening. Not going to waste a lot of time on this fight because there's not very much that needs to be said, but we do got a good main event nonetheless as we head back to flyweight for a very, very, very important fight between Alex Perez which is Tatsuro, Taira, or Taria, whatever. Yeah, Taira got waste of time. Tatsuro is gonna win this fight pretty easily. Yeah, this is just a Tatsuro showcase fight. He's a better fighter. He's a younger fighter, and he's just 10 times better than Perez ever was or will be. So, yeah, Tatsuro Taira is gonna win this fight pretty easily, and I'm gonna say Tatsuro Taira probably by like submission in the second. Like, he's probably gonna finish Perez. Some Mukayev could not do, but Tatsuro is better than Mukayev. Fight me, I don't care, I'm right. And yeah, Tatsuro Taira is gonna win his first main event, because that's all this fight's meant to be. So yeah, give me Tatsuro Taira by submission in a second. He's not gonna get fraud checked by Alex Ow Perez. Ow, not because he hurts people, because he gets hurt most of the time. So yeah, give me Taira by submission in a second. I think is what I'm gonna lean with as right now. So yeah, not really a hard fight to predict. The better fighter will win, and that's Tatsuro Taira. Boom. There's the card to go over my picks one more time. Costa by submission in a second. Julia Polastri by decision. My lock of the night, Jeka Saragih by knockout in the first. Carli Judice by decision. Brady Hiestand by decision. Nate Maness by decision. Joshua Van by decision. Adam Fugitt by decision. Asu Almabaev by submission in the second. Miles Johns by decision. Timmy Twilight by decision. And Tatsuro Taira by submission in the second. Bang. It's a fine card. Like, the prelims have a couple bangers. Costa could be fun. Polastri Knutsson's amazing. Westin Wilson getting knocked out will be fun. Brady Hiestand, I can't wait. Josh Van Tagir is amazing. Almabaev's cool. Johns and Andrade is great. Tatsuro Taira is gonna be great to see get a main event win. It's a fine card. Yeah, you got a couple duds like Judice. Maness and Flick might not be great. Fugitt, fucking Almeida. But you got a couple bangers in there to cover up the bad. So, if for an Apex card, is it great? No. But no, as a card, is it great? No. For an Apex card, it's fine. Especially since it's surrounded by, we had 2 cards in the last 2 weeks that were, we have 2 cards coming up that are looking like they could be good or terrible. Who knows what's gonna happen? Apparently, Connor Chandler is off as of when I'm recording this, so who fucking knows what the main event of 303 is gonna be? So, yeah, I think the reason this card is bearable is because it's in between two. It's in between a bunch of cards that are not Apex cards, so it's a little more bearable. I don't mind Apex cards as much if we're getting them in spurts instead of back to back weeks. Like, remember before 300 when we got 3 Apex cards in 4 weeks? Great. But no, I don't mind an Apex card that badly when we're getting it like this in between a lot of cards. So yeah, I still hate Apex cards and I can't wait for them to end, but yeah, I'm not too upset with this one. It's overall not a bad card, and it's in between a lot of good stuff, so yeah. But not very much else to say. You'll hear me recap this card Sunday, hopefully 1 p.m. EST. This card is getting pay-per-view times for no fucking reason, so we'll see what happens there. I'll try and get a breakdown, or the recap out on Sunday. We'll see. If the card sucks, I probably won't, but if it's good, I will. So, we'll see if it gets the 302 treatment or not, because 302 was so shit, it was not worth me breaking it down right away, so, or recapping it, I mean, so, yeah. But, yeah, not really much else to say. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything to say. Not really. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, you'll hear from me Sunday for a recap, hopefully 1 p.m. EST, we'll see. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. And as always, hey, under an hour and a half, I'm improving. RX out. Good vibes. What the fuck was that? Only and always.